Welcome, welcome. Jorge, how you doing, man? Don't be shy. We can see your microphone getting muted and unmuted.
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to turn on the Microsoft first, so my
It's
mistake.
all
Sorry.
good, man. Nice to have you here, by the way.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Nice to have you here, man. And you're one of the early guys. So basically, you've been here before, right? On the group calls, right? Jorge, you've been here before on the group calls,
I'm
right?
sorry. I can hear. No, actually, it's my first time here in this meeting.
Oh, it's your first time. Oh, it was the other Jorge. Got it. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
damn, you changed
yes.
your profile picture, bro. I don't remember this one.
Really.
I was a little bit confused, bro. Nice to have you here, by the way, man. There we
Thank
go.
you.
Now we can see you, man.
Yeah.
Now we can see or listen to you. Eduardo, how you doing, man?
Hey, good evening,
If I had a
Frank.
hat, I would also tip it, but I don't have it, so just imagine I have a hat.
Yeah, so good evening, gentlemen. Nice to be here.
Tips his fedora lightly. So yeah, anyway, welcome you guys to the weekly group call. Eduardo, you've been here before, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was a while ago because I couldn't join. I was in a trip. I just came back from France, and this
Mm.
is like the second session. But yeah,
Well,
pretty
more
much.
than more than welcome, bro. And the same thing goes well for Jorge, which is his first time, as he's telling us. So basically, what we do in this weekly calls is that we pretty much like gather in as part of this community, part of the freelance navigator community, part of the self-it community, which is the branch that we work with along with myself and Jonathan here. Jonathan is also the coach from self-it. So just a little bit of an introduction for myself, and starting with Jonathan. Actually, if you would like to, go ahead, Jonathan.
Good evening, guys. It's great to have you here. I believe this is the first time I see you. I see you as well. So basically, that's what we do here. We are both coaches for this program, and we carry this program to help other professionals reach goals like things that we have struggled with in the past. For example, not being able to maintain, not being able to reach our health goals and also keep up with the pace of a professional, uh, a high professional, a high environment professional environment. So both things at the same time is very challenging, and that's what we focus on to help others being able to top perform professionally and also with their health. So whatever we can do to help you, uh, we'll be really glad to do that.
Yeah, basically to get you guys up to speed, Jonathan and me work with tech professionals from Costa Rica, from Mexico, from the United States too. And we work with, tech pros, CEOs, founders, CTOs, whatever you name it, busy people, like yourselves. Like right now, for example, you're in freelance navigator, you're building your career. You're building not only your career as a freelancer, but your very own career. You want to land those jobs, those projects. You want to get that financial freedom. Why? Because you definitely want to achieve those goals that you currently have. And alongside all of that is enjoying the fruits of that work. Because otherwise, like for example, if I were to ask you guys right now, I give you $10 million, would you take it or would you not? Jorge and Eduardo?
Of course.
Eduardo? Okay, you would take him. So, what if the one condition was that you would die tomorrow at this time? Would you take it still?
No, no.
Would you take them, Eduardo? What
Nope,
does that mean?
absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, man. What does that mean? That your own life is worth more than $10 million. It's even worth more than probably than $1 billion. Like if I raised it to $1 billion, I would guess the answer would be the same. Would it be, Jorge? Would it be, Eduardo?
Yes.
It's the same thing, bros. It's the same thing because there's a point at which money doesn't have enough worth for one to give up the experience that we're living right now. And sure, I understand it. Right now, when you're at a point on which you have most leverage of your time, so you're building up your career at start. This is what happens with a lot of people that we work with. Those people start, and when they start, they have a lot of time. They have a lot of time available, but they don't have as much income. So they want to exchange that time for income. What ends up happening? A lot of the times, whenever you go ahead and set it up in a way in which you exchange your time for money, you also exchange your health for money. And what ends up happening? A lot of people just turned away of, recovering their health after the fact that they've earned that money. So, what is the best way, and what have people found out to be the best way in which they can also, grow in both areas of their lives? Is basically just having a balance, having the right amount of equilibrium in their whole life. This is what we preach. This is what we work with. We're not here to give workouts, gym workouts, or just, give you what to eat or tell you what to eat or what not to eat. It's much more than that. It's more about finding balance because we understand that way. Because I myself have been overweight. Like right now, you see me like this, but I was heavily overweight. I studied industrial engineering, work in tech for a bit too. Um, and I couldn't find I couldn't find that balance before. So this is part of the things that we preach, part of the things that we work with, and we help other people in the same situation reach that. We don't believe in restriction. The first thing, a lot of the times there's this preconception of you wanting to, reach this perfect shape or wanting to reach this, fit shape. And there's a belief that you need to be quite restrictive about it if you want to reach it. It's actually not that way. Balance is the key in the end. So yeah, basically that's a little bit of what we work with. And just, to capture guys up to speed, what we do in these weekly meetings, we discuss certain subjects, that also have actionable items for you guys. It's not just us blabbering around, sometimes asking you guys stuff, but actually giving you guys value, stuff that you can apply right now based on your current situation and what you're dealing with. So we want them to be as productive as possible so you guys can get the value out of it. So, well, for this specific week, the subject that we had was nutrition. Why nutrition? There's a famous phrase that comes from, the gym and all this culture that says you can totally out diet a bad workout, but you cannot out work out a bad diet. Again, this doesn't mean that you gotta go for a diet, because a diet is a concept of something that feels restrictive, that you gotta be careful with this, and you gotta be keep everything in control. No, it's more of a balance. That's what we believe in. But what we mean with this is that you guys are the ones who just have to find this balance with your nutrition, with what you eat. This is the fuel that helps you guys get this energy so that you can perform better at your work. And it's not only that you're building your health or your physique, but you're also building your performance at work and how you perform with it. We personally worked with people that have actually gotten raises while they were working with us. Uh, so, it's more than just how you look, it's how you perform, how you feel too. So again, nutrition. What specifically do we have for this? Well, it really depends, because it depends on what you prefer eating, what you rather have, what your goals are even. So just to begin with, a little bit in here. If we were to have like a short definition, starting with you, Jorge, which would you say is like your current goal, if you were to have, like any sort of physical goal that you would like to attain?
Well, my first goal, I guess, could be lose weight.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Okay, lose weight. Eduardo, which would you say would be a goal that you would like to, would be more like gain muscle, drop fat, or a combination of both? By the way, hi, Jorge. Nice to have you, bro.
Hello, everybody. Nice.
Go
Very
ahead,
nice.
Eduardo.
Thank you.
Hey, Jorge. Nice to have you
Hey, Tocayo.
here. Man, so
Thank you.
I think the goal wouldn't be related to weight. In my diet and
Mhm.
nutrition wise, I would like to have a consistent source of energy
Okay,
that
energy.
can keep me consistent throughout the day.
Okay, okay. So let's understand a little bit because we could give you guys, 1,000 different tips or actionable items, but it really depends with what you're struggling with. So let's get a little bit more context. Jorge, right now, for your case specifically, what do you feel is your biggest struggle when it comes to losing weight?
In my case,
Yeah,
well, I
nutrition wise.
guess I don't have control with what things I eat. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes I try to remove the sugar of my food. And in the first steps, I couldn't do it in the 2 months. However, it's too difficult try to continue with that. But I try it.
Okay. All right. And how about yourself, Eduardo? What do you feel is your biggest struggle to finding that nutrition that fits in your desired performance at work and energy levels too?
Uh, so the biggest struggle I think was trying to find the secret ingredient or
Mhm.
like the secret formula when instead um, I felt recently that less is more. So I used to drink a lot of coffee and caffeine and just to maybe get that energy throughout the day. But recently I've been trying out quitting alcohol, quitting coffee, quitting. I did smoke a little bit, so quitting smoking, and just removing those things has improved my energy levels a lot throughout the day. So it's
Okay.
um, yeah, the struggle was trying to find the secret ingredient to add when instead I needed to remove.
Hmm. All right, got it. So, Jonathan, looking at Jorge's case first, what would you say would be Jorge Lopez's case? What would you say would be like any actionable item that you could give him?
So pretty much the issue you mentioned, Jorge, is about how to handle your nutrition and your diet. That's pretty much your situation right now, right?
Yeah.
So as Frank said in the beginning, we don't want to get a restrictive approach. Instead, what we want to do is educate ourselves about what we are doing with our nutrition. So, for example, if I tell you to drink a small portion of perfume, probably you would never do that because you know that that's not going to help you anyway. So when you understand what you're drinking, when you understand what you're eating, you see now a reason to actually stop and think, what am I consuming? What am I putting in my body? So by starting with that step, that's a great actionable step that we can take, that we can get to get you ahead on that goal. So for example, if you begin your day with eating eating an enormous uh piece of bread, and also um you add ketchup and mayonnaise, you will start to find yourself thinking, why am I adding this? Is this only because of the flavor, or what other feelings am I getting on my stomach, on my body? But not only about the feelings, and it also comes about the effects that this produces on your body. So getting that education is very important to get on a proper nutrition and also not feel guilty about what you're eating because you will actually enjoy everything that you're eating.
Yeah, of course.
Not feeling guilty is very important because if you feel guilty about it, you will self sabotage yourself. You will say, like, oh, fuck it. I already missed my nutrition and now F everything. Fuck everything. I just messed it up. Let me go ahead and eat a pizza. Uh, and mess it up twice. Double down on the mess up. We don't want that. We want you to have, understand food, understand. By understanding food, I mean having like a structure, having like a way in which you can operate so that you can have spaces where you can eat the foods that you want and others where you go for cleaner options, but you also keep in mind that you're going to have the other spaces for to eat your ice creams, to eat your sweets, to eat other stuff. We don't believe in restriction. We believe in balance. Balance is key because restriction is not sustainable, man. It is not sustainable, at least for the great majority of people. And again, we don't want you to not be enjoying your food. Like, fuck, man. Imagine not being able to enjoy one of the three biggest pleasures in life. You probably know the other two, but one of them is food. Yeah, eating. Yeah. We're just going to talk about eating on this meeting. Probably the other ones we will talk about later. Yeah, the three C's in Spanish, how they say. So here's the thing, man. Basically, you gotta have this approach in which you're able to enjoy yourself of all of that food that you like, but with a structure. It's the same thing, like the way you operate when you work with a client, when you do a consulting job, when you do anything else. You had to have a structure. If you are not operating under the same level of competency that you are in other areas of life, you're just being a hypocrite. That's it, man. Plain and straight. You're not being real to your core values, to your core work ethic. How you do one thing, you do everything. So that's the way it should be. And what actionable items could we give you for this punctually? Again, give yourself spaces, set yourself like, okay, on Tuesday, I'm going to eat this and I'm going to allow myself to eat this. And if I do this, then on Thursday, I can go ahead and eat this. When you put yourself a reward system, the whole game changes, man. Because now you will actually feel compelled to feel that satisfaction of not only being able to reach this goal, whether it be sending upward proposals, sending whatever it is goal you have, or at finishing like a certain project or anything else, or just doing some movement, some exercise, whatever it is. After the fact that you've done it, you will feel that endorphin in you because you've achieved something that you set yourself to. But not only that, but you will also feel the reward system that you have previously set up for, that you will get the ice cream, that you will get the pizza, that you will get this. And one thing that I can tell you though, do not reward yourself with a whole fucking pizza, okay? If you're gonna eat pizza, if you're gonna eat ice cream, go for one, two, maybe three slices. All good. Go for 1 cup, maybe 1.5 cups, maybe two of ice cream. Control yourself. We want you to be balanced. So just keep that in mind, when we say allow yourself those spaces. And here's the most important thing. When you are eating those foods, eat them slowly, eat them with intention, eat them with pacing. Why? Because if you just go ahead and eat them fast, go through a bunch of pizza fast, what's going to happen is that you're not going to enjoy it. You're not genuinely going to enjoy it. You're just going to eat it for the sake of eating it. It's the same thing for ice cream. Whenever you have a little bit of ice cream left, and this happens to all of us, like correct me if I'm wrong, but this really happens to all of us. Whenever you see that you have just a little bit of ice cream left over, oh, that motherfucker, you're gonna enjoy that motherfucker down. You're gonna take your time to enjoy that bitch. You're gonna take your time to go through that ice cream and taste it with every single palate on your fucking tongue. And you know that. I'm telling you, you're smiling because you know how it is. It's the same approach that you should have, man. If you operate as if you were eating your very last bit of ice cream that you're ever gonna eat. You're gonna have more intention, you're gonna be more conscious, and you're gonna enjoy it more. And it's gonna taste a lot better. Guarantee that, man. That's another thing. Do things with intention. Stop using the fucking phone while you're eating too. When you use the phone while you're eating, you end up eating a lot more because you're not conscious about your activity. When you're just being distracted, eating, watching. Take your time, be present, and enjoy the food that you have. The great blessing to be eating, man. Because there's a lot of people that wish they had a plate of eating to eat. Plenty of people in the Middle East, in Africa, and whatnot, man. There's a lot of people that would die for what you take for granted. You gotta also be thankful. When you operate from that internalization, you will understand and you will be more grateful for what you have. Uh, we gave you like a lot of sauce, definitely, and you might be a little bit, impacted from the crude language that I utilized to describe everything. But we would just want you to basically take those things for out of it. So again, build the structure in which you allow yourself to reward yourself with intention, with moderation too. And also, the other thing that can be quite actionable for you is prioritize protein. What does prioritize protein mean? Protein would be, for example, on an everyday nutrition for someone from Costa Rica, would be the eggs from the breakfast, would be the chicken, the meat, the pork from lunch, even some of the beans, they have a lot of protein, milk, some lactose products, and fish, all that stuff that is would be protein. So, if you actually aim to eat more protein and less carbs, which means less rice, less pasta, less sweets, less sugars, less bread, all that, if you reduce the bread and you up the protein, you will feel a lot fuller and you will not be eating as many calories. And what happens? If you don't eat as many calories, you are not providing your body enough calories to sustain. So what happens? It needs to drag those calories from your body. And it usually drags them if you're optimizing everything. And usually, more than usually, you would be from your fat storages, which in turn ends up reducing your body fat, which in turn ends up reducing your belly, your stomach fat, and you look a lot fitter. Those are one of the actionable items that we can give you, Jorge. So I hope you took note. That's definitely something that will help you, and just this value that we gave you for this, it's something that we usually do in personal consultings with our clients from the U.S. and that people pay thousands of dollars for. But again, you guys are in Freelance Navigator. All this value is completely free and right available for you guys because we're that grateful. So Eduardo, you mentioned the basically the optimization of your energy levels. Uh, well, before we go into that, excuse me one second. So, anything else that you have, Jorge? Any other question?
No, for now, it's all I have.
All right. So, Eduardo, you mentioned the optimization of your energy and how you have been quitting stuff, and you have been taking stuff out of the equation, and that has helped you, has it?
Yeah, it's the bad habits, taking them out of the equation.
It's bad habits. And you know what's the thing about bad habits? Bad habits usually build on obscurity. You don't even notice when they are building themselves up. You got to be always attentive of how you're building bad habits because bad habits could be something as like this. For example, let's say you have this uh, constant daily task of sending 15 Upwork proposals. One day you just send 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and then the next day you send 10. The next day you send 10. The day after you send 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. You send 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. And by the time you realize you haven't sent Upwork proposals in a week, that's one of the examples, for example, for this matter. But it's the same thing with habits. They stack up, whether they are negative habits that will get you farther from the results that you're seeking, or positive habits that will get you closer to the results that you're seeking. The one thing about those is that if you are not aware of how, when they are happening, they can sneak up. They can sneak up, and that motherfucker will have you and grab you by your neck and drag you down. That's what happens, to a lot of people. That's how they lose their health. That's how they lose their good habits. That's one thing about that. The other thing you mentioned, the optimization of what you're eating right now. Could you give us like a brief example of what you're eating in a regular day to day?
Mm. Yeah. So I've been trying to eat a lot of more protein and try to be as varied as I can be. So try to include a good mix of fish, chicken, chicken in all its forms. So it's not just the chicken fillet; it's also like buying the entire chicken and then taking
Nice.
advantage of the thighs and the wings and the whole thing. Um, a lot of fish. I already mentioned fish. Sorry, and then red meats like not as much pork, but a lot of like high quality beef. I might take that down a little bit because it's been a little expensive to buy high quality beef. So
No,
uh,
you
trying
mean
to find that
grass-fed beef?
balance. Yeah,
Oh
a little
yeah,
bit.
got it, got it, got it, got it. What else?
Oh yeah, and then on the carbs, on the carbohydrate side, um, yeah, I'm from Costa Rica, so you cannot say no to rice and beans, both separately or together. I usually eat bread. I eat eggs for breakfast, along with something else. Uh, I don't know. I try to eat as balanced as I can, so include vegetables and salads in my daily diet. Try to eat vegetables and salad also every day. Not as many fruits, honestly. I don't eat a lot of fruits.
Okay, okay. Okay, so here's the thing that we can tell you for this. You're
Mhm.
saying that you're not eating a lot of fruits, but do you dislike fruits or what's the matter with those?
No, no, I'm perfectly fine with fruits. It's just uh, I don't know. I think that they would be a good thing to have for like the in between the meals to grab. It's a small size, a small portion that has some easy to digest sugars. So the reason why I don't buy fruits is because if I don't eat them, they go bad, and it's like in my head that I don't want food to go bad. Uh, which at times that thought has led me to overeating. If I see my fridge full and I'm by myself that week,
Mhm.
then I'm gonna eat a little bit more so that the food doesn't spoil,
Mhm.
and that has led me to overeating. But I'm trying to control that, and yeah, that's one of the bad habits.
Okay, okay, okay. So the one thing that we can tell you with this, for the early morning, if you want to improve your focus and if you want to, get more in the zone, as we call, and where you're able
Right.
to lock in and work, and time goes by and you just work, and you get a lot of stuff done, how they call
Mm.
it, we would definitely recommend you have a couple of rules with this. Usually would be eat from the morning fats and protein. What
Mhm.
does that mean? Fat or protein? That means skipping the gallo pinto. That
Right.
means skipping carbs, skipping the bread. Go for something like some eggs with maybe some bacon or some butter,
Mm.
and you could probably add a little bit of fruit in there, just a little bit, and
Mm.
just go for something like that, some two, three, four, even four eggs. The one thing with eggs, I will tell you, there's this common myth, because it's a myth, of mothers telling you, oh, don't eat as much eggs. You're gonna get cholesterol. You're gonna die from a heart attack. And that, quite frankly, is the same thing as the old tales of, El Cadejo or La Llorona, that they
Urban
tell
myths.
kids to don't go out at night. Don't go out at night. Don't do that messy stuff because you're going to meet them. It's quite frankly out of the scope of reality because data backs otherwise. It's not per se the eggs that you're eating that's giving you cholesterol, that gives people cholesterol issues, but the other activities that correlates to eating a lot of eggs, which are, eating a lot of foods that will get them to a high cholesterol level. So just so you know, they're completely safe. They're actually one of the richest and best protein sources, and even the cheapest protein sources, eggs.
Mhm.
Really, really recommend that brand. Okay, so we got eggs. So you take a breakfast, some two, three, four, even four eggs. You have probably some bacon. Don't do it too often, the bacon, because the bacon has a lot of carcinogens, the chemicals that they use on them, you know. But if you have get like a grass fed or something, better bacon, props to you. Definitely recommend it. If not, just the eggs. And I don't know if you're a coffee guy. Do you even like caffeine?
1 second, my dog is going crazy. He's nuts.
I
Good one.
believe he said he was giving up actually on caffeine.
Yeah. So my main source of caffeine was coffee. It's not like I was drinking any like pre-training formula or anything like that. And I I was told by people that you can add something to the coffee. I think it's called like theanine or like some powder that would like cancel out the caffeine. I really like the taste of coffee. It's just recently it's like the spike in energy that it goes down really quickly. So it makes me more anxious. And when I feel anxious, I tend to procrastinate. And so it's become something that I wanted to remove.
Okay.
So I haven't been drinking coffee. I still do, like on weekends or when I am with family on a casual environment. But the daily consumption of coffee, it's no longer part of my life
Okay.
because of that anxiety that it started to cause me.
Gotcha. Okay. In that case, that's a separate subject to be addressed. But personally, what I would even recommend, I don't know if you're a tea guy or a yerba mate guy too.
Oh, that's really good.
Yerba mate
Mate,
too, is a great
mhm,
option.
because you drink it like on like more diluted, so it's not that punch in the gut.
Exactly. Exactly. That's another one. That's another one.
Mm,
So
good, good one.
that's a great option. But do you have any problem with it specifically?
No, not a problem. That was just the anxiety, and I also thought for some time I used coffee to motivate myself to go to the gym or before training, and I don't know. It started to feel weird when you associate uh, a ritual that so then if you don't drink coffee you don't want to go to the gym, and I didn't like that. It's like it
Mhm.
starts to feel out of control, and that's the point when I decide like, hey, I need to control this. If it's getting out of my control, take back control.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's part of what it takes.
Mm.
I would
And go ahead,
I would
Jonathan.
like I would like to add to that, and this is something beneficial for everyone actually. Also for example, what Jorge said, that this is something that used to come when we are talking about nutrition, because there's something that it's not about the function that every meal or every food is accomplishing on our body, but it's also an emotional attachment that we are adding to certain foods. So, for example, when we consume coffee, what is that we are looking for? What is that emotional attachment that we are giving to the coffee? It's not actually about what the coffee actually does in our body, but this emotional value that we are giving to that. So whenever we feel a craving, it's that's an stimulus, that's a response that our body is giving to something that our body needs actually. So it's okay to understand where that craving comes from, and not actually to judge it, not actually to feel bad about it, because we may also say caffeine is not something negative for your health or for your body, but sometimes we rely on caffeine instead of just using it as fuel. As well, it is not a fuel, because actually what caffeine does is uh, make a response on your body to neglect fatigue. So pretty much, if you're tired, then if you drink caffeine, you're not feeling tired, but not because you have energy. It's because actually it is numbing that tiredness that you have. So that's a very interesting topic to talk about, because it's very emotional. It's sometimes it's not about what these foods are doing on our body, but why are we relying on that? So, for example, people rely on those habits that we are talking about because, for example, people feel stressed out, and what's the first thing they do? They go out and smoke,
Hmm.
because that's an automatic reply that they are taking to avoid or to numb that stress. So that's pretty much a way to handle those feelings, but actually we are not here to talk about bad or good foods. This is a very deep topic, because it comes to how are we handling those emotions, and we are trying to give too much importance on coffee to handle that for ourselves. But it's way much better to address those feelings and to actually act accordingly, to work on it, and to actually do something that matters for our health.
Yeah, that's a lot of the the actionable items that you can have and understanding behind that, because the understanding behind it also gives you perspective, man. That's also the what we preach with self-it, the understanding behind everything that you're doing, so that you actually know what the fuck you're doing it, and then you actually feel more compelled to do it when you have this approach. So what other stuff like can you have, So the yerba mate and the tea, those are options. We would definitely recommend you try them out, even like as soon as tomorrow, if you can, because that will lock you in for the early mornings. You will have a lot of a better performance early on. On later stages of the day, we would recommend you also include as many fruits and veggies as possible, because we're not sure, but maybe you might be uh, underfed with micronutrients, with vitamins, with minerals, with a lot of deficiencies that are definitely showing and hindering in your performance. That's something that you should also be checking yourself with your doctor, or any lab medical tests that can show all that. Definitely recommend that. It's always good to know, man. And yeah, that's part of it. And if you have the option to maybe go for a multivitamin to supply those demands that you have. What other stuff? I mean, there's a
Another
lot of
op
stuff. Go ahead.
no, Another option might be Shilajit, to get that like focus and energy in the
Sheila
morning.
hit, yeah, Sheila hits another option. It's, I mean, for the amount and for the plus that you get, I would say it's fair, but some people deem it pretty expensive. That's, up to you for that.
What did you call it?
Sheila hit, Sheila jit.
I I have no idea what that is.
Let me go ahead and type it out on the chat in here. So it's Sheila jit, this one.
Okay, yeah, no idea. That's new to
It's
me.
basically like a natural resin from the Himalayas that you can
Mm.
just, drop into a tea. And it's an infusion that you eat, that you drink. And basically gives you pretty good boost in energy. And, it works wonders. Also improves your testosterone. And it's something that what we recommend is you try out stuff. If it works for you, if it gives you that plus, go for it. You know, that's our approach because everybody's different. We give like a, like set of recommendation, but that's part of the options that you have. If not, you're other way good to go because just with the other actionable items that you have, you're more than
Yeah.
well enough done for it. And yeah, basically that's part of the optimization that we could give you, Eduardo. Also, be careful with the habits, with how your habits are kept, with how you're keeping the good habits and how you are keeping the bad habits off. That's
Yeah.
very important, man. Always be aware of that. Always be aware of that. Always be present. As we told Jorge, a lot of the actionable items that we gave to Jorge are also applicable for you. So, from all that, also, will help you out a lot for your performance, man. I don't know if you have any other questions, Eduardo.
Absolutely. No, I just wanted to thank you guys. It's it's good. Good to talk about this stuff.
Would love to hear that, man. And always, it's our pleasure. Jorge, do you have any questions?
For me, it's okay, Frank.
All right. All right, you guys, that's basically all that we have for this week. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Mr. Jonathan.
I don't know, whatever, whenever you feel that we can also help in any of those topics regarding health and performance, we'll do our best to help you. So feel free to reach us out.
Yeah, we're gonna, if you mind, Jonathan. So we're gonna leave our Instagrams in here, so you guys can, can talk to us, can contact us, can ask everything. We'll help you guys out. So let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. This is Jonathan's Instagram, and this is also my Instagram, which are the two social media platforms that we use the most. And this would be my Instagram, Coach Fit. There we go. All right. And yeah, pretty much that'll be all for this week's weekly group call with the Freelance Navigator and Selfit community. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and see you next week, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Costa Rica time. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Have a
Good
good
evening.
night. Bye bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.